And I am back. Yeah, Governor Brian Kemp here in Georgia is, oh God, he's just a very stupid man. Very stupid, not ignorant. Ignorant is curable, as you've heard me say many times. Stupid is pretty much terminal. And Brian Kemp qualifies as a very stupid man. He is starting his reelection push coming up in, 2024, I guess, right? I think 2024, yeah. And he argued that Major League Baseball had, his word, quote, caved into fear, end quote, because of the decision to move the All-Star game out of Atlanta. And what this dumb shit is doing, he's borrowing from the Trump playbook, trying to rally Republicans around his new idea of voting limits and the fact that the liberals and the atheists and the progressives and all the bad people are trying to interfere in the smooth, oily work of government, right? Which is probably true. But this is what he said. Let me quote. This is Brian Kemp speaking. Yesterday, Major League Baseball caved to fear and lies from liberal activists. Oh my God. They ignored the facts of our new election integrity law, and they ignored the consequences of their decision on our local community. In the middle of a pandemic, Major League Baseball put the wishes of Stacey Abrams and Joe Biden ahead of the economic well-being of hard-working Georgians who were counting on the All-Star game for a paycheck. Georgians and all Americans should know what this decision means. It means cancel culture and partisan activists are coming for your business. They're coming for your game or event in your hometown. And they're coming to cancel everything from sports to how you make a living. And they will stop at nothing to silence all of us. End quote, Brian Kemp, Governor Georgia. Jesus Christ. I mean, have you ever heard? This is about, it doesn't make any difference what it's about, but to make those kinds of statements, Stacey Abrams and Joe Biden made it clear he had nothing to do with this. After the fact, he, like a lot of white people who get it, made the statement, yeah, makes sense to me. You know, if you're not going to play by the rules, we're going to take the game away. Didn't I just say something like that last half hour? I think I did. Oh, well. So on Saturday, this dumb shit governor of Georgia issued that blistering critique of the decision to pull the All-Star game out of Georgia, out of Atlanta, because of these laws. Or I should say, the law with all of its rotten segments that restricts voting in this state. And he's trying to paint it as though this is something just made up by Democrats in order to steal future elections, rather than a civil rights effort to protect access to the ballot because of what Republicans are trying to do across the entire country. I'm sorry, not Republicans, Christian fascists, Republican zombies. They're still moving around, but they're dead. They're totally dead. They're just not aware of it yet. The Kemp said that, what I quoted to you at the beginning of this at a news conference. And beside him stood the state's Republican Attorney General, We all know about him, who said it was the most fair and honest and open election in Georgia history. Also, Republican members of the legislature and some so-called, this is not true, but so-called grassroots activists who want to continue the assault on voting, not just in Georgia, but everywhere they can. And what was interesting about the dumb shit governor of Georgia, the way he peppered his speech with these little Christian fascist bullshit words, catchphrases like cancel culture. Cancel culture. When did that pop up? Oh, that popped up, I guess, from people who were infuriated because the governor of Michigan was trying to protect her citizens from this coronavirus pandemic and said that events had to be canceled. Now it's become cancel culture. And they're trying to make that term a wedge issue that they can then use in the 2024 elections coming up in order to animate the base of the Christian Fascist Party. I would assume that most Republicans have had about enough and are either becoming conservative Democrats or getting out of the scam altogether or becoming part of the Christian Fascist Party. I think most of them are becoming part of the Christian Fascist Party. That gives them a nice, new, comfy, warm, cozy home. The Christian Fascist Party. And on Saturday, when he gave that little shit speech of his, he repeatedly tried to paint the decision by Major League Baseball as driven by Stacey Abrams, who was his opponent in the 2018 election. When is our next governor's election? I guess it's 2022. Yeah. And he was elected governor in 2018. Okay, they're off years from the presidential election. I should know that since I live here, right? But Stacey Abrams, who will probably challenge this dumb shit roughly a year and a half from now for the governorship of Georgia once again. And she would have won last time were it not for the fact that Brian Kemp, the governor, at the time of the election that he won, so to speak, he was the Secretary of State of Georgia. So he had the ability, and by God, he used it, to peel off 400,000 or more voters from the rolls here in Georgia, most of whom were presumed to be either, colored folk or Democrats or liberals, which gave him the governorship. And everybody here in Georgia knows it. Even the Christian fascists, they know how this asshole got elected governor. But, of course, they're not going to talk about it. There's some things we just don't talk about, you know what I'm saying? Now, Stacey Abrams, for her part, she's probably the most prominent critic of this new law. Well, Ms. Abrams has pushed back on calls for sports leagues and corporations to boycott the state. She said Friday that she was disappointed that baseball officials had pulled the All-Star game, but that she was, quote, proud of their stance on voting rights, end quote. Sounds like Ms. Abrams wants to have it both ways, doesn't it? Well, that kind of casts her in the same light, a little bit anyway, doesn't it? Don't take me wrong here. Don't jump on your texts, your emails, or your Twitter and say, Malloy, what are you doing? But doesn't that put her almost in a similar position to these Christian fascists who always want it both ways? They don't want anybody mess with their privacy, but they have no problem messing with the privacy of women. You know what I'm saying. So, in defending the law, though, I get what Stacey Abrams is saying. Although the coalition that has been put together to resist these laws here in Georgia, or this law here in Georgia, are also calling for the boycotts of the major corporations that are based here, like Home Depot, like Coca-Cola, like Delta, like whoever they are. So what's the difference? I guess I should send an email or a text to Miss Abrams. Damn it, I keep saying text. I don't have her phone number. Maybe I should put it on my Twitter feed. What is the difference between not approving of Major League Baseball's withdrawal and boycotting the companies that continue to support here in Georgia these Christian fascist members of the General Assembly? I am not sophisticated enough, apparently, to get the difference. Maybe somebody can explain it to me. Anyway, back to the dumb shit governor here. Brian, when he was defending the law here in Georgia, he singled out two states that are controlled by Democrats, New York and Delaware. And he compared their voting regulations with the new law in Georgia. Now, those states, Georgia and Delaware, don't offer as many options for early voting as Georgia does, but they've also not passed any new laws instituting restrictions on voting, which Georgia has done. What Brian Kemp is displaying there, when he tries to compare Georgia to Delaware and New York, the dumb shit, what he's counting on, and it's valid, is that the people who will listen to him and believe him are too goddamn stupid or lazy to sit down in front of the computer and run a comparison check on what he's saying and what is really true in New York and Delaware vis-a-vis the law or the bill he signed into law here in Georgia. He knows that his constituents aren't going to do that shit. Most of them don't know how to turn on their computer anyway. They have to get the great-grandson in. Hey, boy, come in here. Turn this machine on for me. Oh, God. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.